Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before I do get started, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, we had the heroes. They've taken the fight to the Demon Lord. Bakugo, he drew the attention of the Demon Lord by striking the city with meteors and fireballs inside the abyss. And the Demon Lord, he took notice to Bakugo when he started talking shit. Now, he led the man away to another plane of existence. Meanwhile, Bakugo, while he's doing this, Deku and Ochako, they casted the spell to resurrect Galore's skeleton, animating it and bringing it under their control. Deku casted the spell, but Ochako used her power to upcast it. And this was quite a feat. They brought it to the abyss using their planeswalker abilities. And when it arrived, it certainly was quite the show. It alarmed the Demon Lord's generals, and Deku took the opportunity to strike. He took out the Necromancer, the man he thought he previously killed, only to somehow survive. The one who took Voss's spirit and turned it into a construct. Deku struck the man down instantaneously, while Ochako, she started to deal with Zagul and the warrior. Now, when this happened, Deku saw Druso, and Druso was happy to see Izuku. The two started their face-off. Though Izuku, he issued challenge magic to Druso, meaning if one of them runs away from this battle, if this battle goes unfinished, whichever one of them it was will lose their power. And that, it certainly was well within Druso's terms. He agreed. And Ochako was not happy about that. Right now, she has Zagul and the warrior restrained. But Deku, he has Druso to take care of. They took out one of the generals, and right now Bakugo's got the Demon Lord. So they are pretty well divided on their priorities. Now, they have less than 40 hours before the Festival of Freedom may give energy to the ritual the Demon Lord's been trying to steal from. Before then, they need to fight. Fight like existence is on the line. Now, let's cut to Deku and Druso. These two have had their face-off, and they've already exchanged quite a bit of blows. Deku does stand there. Right now his hair glowing white as the green energy of death does radiate around him. And Izuku himself, he feels powerful. And he's well aware of his own abilities. Something about being in the abyss with the corpse and the skeleton. It feels like it's just luring more power to him. This realm is festering with death, and he is benefiting. Right now, him holding his blade up and waiting for Druso to make a move. And the man, he is going to hold up a massive cutlass ready for Deku. And the two, they have already exchanged quite a bit of blows. But right now, he does a stare down at Druso, as he does go to activate Draconic Empowerment and rush forwards. And when he does it to do so, Druso does it a Russian as well. Him swinging his massive blade over his head as it and the katana do go to meet. The Nodachi and blade clashing. Right now they do go to watch as the ground around him in the air does a shake with the force of a boom. And there he is where Deku does a pull back and go to swing forwards. Druso going to step backwards and bring the blade up. Right now him going to watch as Deku does a throw his hand down and grab his Tanto. Him going to try and swing his body around to send out a kick. But Deku, he does a step to the side using the enchantments on his boots. His speed doubling as he's going to throw his right foot down and lean forwards, bring the blade up and slashing Druso across the face. Before he does go to change the commander's blade and go to spin. Laying out a whirlwind slash as Druso does go to bring up his blade and go to lunge backwards. Right now the strike's going to be sent out towards him. Him being caught in the arm and in the leg, defending his torso as his blade does go to take a fury of blows. And Druso does go sliding backwards. Him going to dig his hand into the ground to slow himself down. And whenever he does go to look up, Deku is already rushing towards him. Him throwing out his Tanto as Druso, he does go to bring himself up. Right now, him going to block the Tanto as Deku, he does go to hold up his hand and go to pull back. Right now, him watching as a cord does go to follow the blade back to Deku's hand. And Deku, he does go to whip the blade around as it does go to follow the cord. Slashing back down towards Druso as Deku, he does go to disappear. Him reappearing where the blade is as he does go to bring up his sword. It stabbing the Druso's gut as Druso does a lean in and headbutt Izuku. Deku already meeting him halfway with the blow. And Druso does go to express quite a trick as he does go to step backwards and teleport away. Deku standing there and getting ready. Him going to look around and try to think. His blade going to make its way back to the hilt and holster. Now, he does get a turn looking around, not seeing Druso and being concerned. Before he has a lunge backwards and go to watch as the slice does move through the air. As he does go to spin and throw out a fist, blasting out towards where he believes Druso to be. And it does be met with a blast of force magic. And Izuku does go to stare on. The man bringing his hand up to go and use gravity magic. And Izuku, he does go to stare at that. Right now, him going to feel pressure begin to build on him. But he does go to rush forwards, activating the enchantment on his boots once more as Druso does go to watch Deku step forwards a few steps before he does go to leap forwards and vanish. And that does go to alarm him. And the moment it does go to happen, he does go to activate time magic. Though the moment he does go to do so, he does go to feel a powerful blow smash him in the face. Him recoiling backwards as milliseconds do begin to pass. Right now, them getting slower and slower. However, he does go to stare on at the fist that just smashed into him. And it does go to make him wary, looking to see that Deku is still rushing at him. And he does bring his hand in and slash out towards Druso. One of his katanas coming down as it does the glow with a white gleam. And Druso, he does go to flap his wings and blast backwards fast. Right now, Deku going to watch as Druso does go to burst backwards in a gust of wind. And he does go to bring his blade up to try and defend himself to make sure he's not damaged. And this, it does mean quite a bit. His spiritual magic beginning to wrap around him as a protective barrier. And Druso, he does float there up in the air, annoyed and not happy that Deku is still holding back. And he does go to bring his hands up. Hero of Cronulla, do not make a fool of me. Why? Don't like it? Not fun? Not having a good time? Well, guess what? I don't care what you think. This is for me, not you. I've waited for this day for quite a bit of time. Deku bring his hands up and telling Druso, right now if he wants him to take him seriously, then stop holding back. He can tell when someone throws a punch how strong they are. He's meant to be the second in command. Act like it. take him seriously and stop petty insults. I see. Well then, hero, if you wish for me to divulge my techniques, I will accommodate. Though I'm expecting this battle to be quite something. Druso going to release his blade. And when it does go flying back down to the ground, crashing down, Druso does go bring his hands up and express. He's gotten quite a bit more power since he lost the Tyrant's blessing. Though he's fairly certain more will come. If he's right, the other Titans will be here. If not, then he will release it. Release what? The god of demons? No. He is already free. He has gained back much power. The recovery has been slow. But enough of that. Now, we are to battle. Druso going to begin emanating a strange glow, and the dark blackened aura around him does begin to roar. Deku feeling its own intensity, and he does go to watch on. As right now, the man's eyes do go to glow red, horns do begin to protrude from his back, and his gray wings do go to grow larger, darkening completely. And this does mean quite a bit. Right now, Deku watching on as he does go to raise his head before he does go to activate his abilities. Draconic Empowerment and then stacking Limitless with it. And his system does go to inform him. Warning, Limitless maximum activation. Ability will harm physical body. Restrainment is necessary. Limitless will only be active as long as you can physically endure it. Mental capacity is not increased. And he does go to let out a breath. Before Deku does go to raise his hands, and Druso does go to frown, asking if he's not worthy of that skill, the last attempt at his power. And Deku does go to raise his hand and go to wave him forwards. Druso rushing him. And Deku does get ready. As the two, they do go to collide their fist. Now, Ochako, she was dealing with quite the set of opponents. And right now, she is flying as fast as she can with her fiery wings. She had to get the guy who could fucking eat magic power. Of course. And then the bastard who can regenerate. Quite a lovely combination. Her going to spin and turn as Zagul and the warrior are on her tail. Right now, her waving her hand up and going to send a fury of threads out towards them. And Zagul, he does go to bring his own hands up as he does go to make contact with the threads and cut into his palm, only for the threads to then go to turn to stone. Right now, him bursting through them as the warrior is rushing at her fast. And she does go to bring a hand up and go to roar out. Her going to try to think about it. Creating a barrier around him that should stop him. Though he does bring his hands up and smash into the barrier. Her watching as it does begin to break and crack almost immediately and frowning out. Trying to think about what she can do. He's absorbing her damn magic and getting stronger. Zagul coming right at her. And whenever he does come flying in, he does go to elongate one of his arms and go to throw it at her. It's going to make contact with one of her daggers as she does go to spin. Her bringing her hand up and slicing down hard. And the body of it does go to armor. Right now Zagul coming in at an intense speed. And she does go to spin and turn. bringing her hand out and casting a magic missile at her maximum spell level, 200 of raw magic. And when the missile does a blast into the goal, he is sent rocketing backwards. Him quite alarmed as he's hit the ground, beginning to regenerate his upper torso. When he does it a stand, the strange beetle-like armor around him, it does begin to start replating and reforming. Her glaring at that as a goal, he does decline to his feet, somewhat swaying and going to shift his footing. The ground underneath Ochako beginning to turn to sand as she does go to leap up into the air, dodging her head backwards and evading the spike that tries to go through her chin. Her spinning and bringing her hands up, blasting Phoenix Fire out at Zagul. And when it does with a crash in his armor, he does go roll in pain. Her bringing her head up and turning it. Before he does go to be covered in ice and his armor does begin to mess up with the influx of temperature. The warrior coming at her as she does a turn, bring her hands up and going to try and use her chaos magic. Right now, her ripping the scroll free from her arm with a powerful wave. And this time, it does go to meet the man's weapon. The man's weapon increasing in weight and going to come down towards her, though she does it a blink away. Right now, her behind him as the man does go to release his weapon and spin, being met by a wall of wolves that come running towards him. And he is annoyed by the illusion. Men on cowerback coming towards him as well behind the wolves. And he does a rush to the creatures that he does not buy. Right now, him making his way towards Ochako as she does a bring her hands up, ready with a powerful spell. And the man, he is struck by the men on cavalryback with spears. Him alarmed being pulled up into the air as others do come in. And right now, she does go to bring her hands up and think about what to do. Hardened illusions are powerful. But he's gonna be a difficult opponent. She can already feel him trying to feed on her mana pool. No, she can't have that. She can't. A powerful boom shaking the very ground underneath them. And this, it is met by a massive sound that does go to begin flowing through the area. Ochako turning and bringing up her barrier to try and defend herself. And it does get a hold as the ground has continued to shake rapidly. Zagul and the warrior, they are sent flying, and she does get a turn looking the direction where Deku and Druso are. They're clashing. But what the hell? Did that just shake everything? Her staring on in that direction, wondering if Limitless would have been worth the cost. And she is a bit worried about that. If those two are duking it out at that level of power, then it's not going to be good. Then again, she needs to think about what to do herself. She can boost the physical attributes of other people. But herself, that's another problem. Her looking the direction the two went flying off in. And she does begin a plan herself. Right now, going to begin casting spells with chaos magic, along with using her divine power to accomplish a goal. And there is where Zagul and the warrior, they do both start to try and get back up. Zagul, quite alarmed as his leg does a twist back in place, and he does go to raise himself up. Annoyed and turning to the warrior, who already is getting back to his feet and manifesting another blade from his inventory. What the hell was that? I don't know. It wasn't her. It was the other. The Breaker of Fate. Yes, well, Princess of Wilds. It's an interesting title. Oh, her magic tastes different. Of course it does. It's forbidden. Yes. Though, Do we have a plan? Or are we just trying to kill? We're trying to stall for time. I don't know if we can take her out. They're here early. That they are. The man climbing to his feet and going to wave his blade out, pointing and expressing. She is on her way now. And they do both fully get up and look in that direction. With the massive sounds of clashing can be heard from Druso and Deku. And the two, they are making quite a spectacle about what is happening. Right now, us watching Zochako does come roaring in on massive spiritual beast. And they do go to roar out in their charge. Her going to be sitting there on the back of a massive wolf holding a spear, as illusions and constructs surround her. And they are beginning their hunt. Now, let's cut back over to Deku and Druso. Their latest clash has sent massive amounts of power flying at each other. Immovable objects and unstoppable forces coming to blows. Right now, Deku sliding backwards and trying to stop. As he does go to finally gain more momentum and smash his foot down behind him. Him smashing into the skull of Galore as he does go to finally come to slow. And it certainly is something. Looking up and staring back at the flesh of the god. He can sense Ochako. She's miles, no, so far away. He can't fathom this distance, but he knows Druso's there. Okay. Well, it seems like Deku's spinning. Right now, him being met by an attack that does gonna slash him across the chest as Druso does gonna push the defensive. Right now, him going to batter Deku with spears of time and gravity, them smashing into Deku as he does go roaring backwards. Him breaking bones and smashing to the ground, beginning to regenerate almost immediately. And when he does a spin, he has to get back to his feet, trying to find Druso and seeing where he might be. Though that is not good. Right now, him spinning and going to meet an attack with a wall of destruction. And it does going to be sent blasting out forwards. Druso bring his own hands up and going to push his own magic at Deku. And when their forms of magic do to clash, Deku does bring his hand up and spread his wings out. Right now, them going to send bursts of magic in every direction. Massive spears flying out and making their way around the wall. Druso watching that and seeing what Deku did. He turned feathers into arrows. Though Deku, he just fired spiritual missiles. And the payload should be quite destructive. Him releasing his defenses and lunging backwards. As Druso, he is caught in the fury of blows and blasts that is destruction magic. Them going to roar out and cause more damage. And Deku does bring his arms up to block. Right now, him watching on as Druso, he does get to stand there. Tendons and muscles and legs torn, trying to stand on his feet. His torso heavily damaged and half of his face exposed skeleton. And the man, he does continue to persist. His body rapidly beginning to heal as Deku does get to stare on. But when his face does go to regenerate, he does get to notice that his dark hair has begun to turn white. And this, he does take notice of. Druso rushing forwards and vanishing, only for Deku to meet with a cut across his throat as he does go to spin. Druso bringing up his weapon and aiming directly for his face. And Deku does it to activate his Ring of Time Slipping. Going back a minute as Druso, him and Deku, they do both find themselves in different positions. Deku, he does currently go to smash into the giant skeleton. Him finally coming to a stop and thinking about what's going to happen next. And it does mean something. Right. Okay, he went back a minute. The fall. No, it took him 15 to stop, 5 to think, 2 to get here, and. Right, okay. Him waiting. And after 20 seconds due to pass, Druso does go to send his attacks out behind Deku. Deku going to bring up a wall of destruction and go to block the attacks, spinning around and bring up adamantine blades in his hand. Right now, him going to create claws and slash out with destruction magic as they do to meet with a burst of orange. And Druso, he does go to be sent roaring backwards as the attacks do to catch him. And that he does fly backwards towards as his hair is still. No, it's gray. He did something. He did something. And that does go to annoy him. Right now, Druso attempting to heal the damage on him, but finding that whenever he does going to do so, it does leave scars. Scars that glow. And Izuku does get to stare at that, asking Druso if he's ever met with destruction magic, purest form. It's quite an interesting form, an interesting art. Him going to clench his hand into a fist as the tendons do begin to bulge and pop. Deku looking down at that and beginning to remend his arm, well aware that Limitless is taking a toll. You're quite persistent. Yeah, I know. Now, how about this? You try and predict my next move. I counter. Or we simply keep going. I don't want to have this small chat with you. Him rushing forwards. And Druso does go to use his foresight, watching the next attack that does go to come at him. And he does bring up his hands to block the fist Deku is going to aim directly for his face. And whenever it does go to do so, Deku, he does go to activate Sacrificial Pact. Right now, him going to throw the punch. And whenever Druso does watch Deku immediately begin to glow with a golden light, he does go to move backwards. Deku's fist completely following through with a massive slash of the air. And Druso, he does go lunging backwards, calling upon more of that power given to him by the Demon Lord and his forbidden art. Now, Druso, he does go to flood his body with power. Deku going to stand there, surrounded by a golden white aura as his hair does go to radiate with more power. His eyes, a beacon. And right now, he does go to bring up his hand and go to rush forwards. Druso, being quite alarmed over Deku, is in front of him in the next second. And he does go to use force magic to throw out a powerful punch. And with that punch, Druso is flying away. And Deku does go to watch as something in front of him does go to tear. And he does a leap backwards, quite alarmed by it. As right now, he does go to watch as a massive hole does go to rip open in front of him. And it's alarming. Him just staring on in surprise. As he does go to turn his attention back towards Druso and look back at the hole. And he does go to take a step to the right and watch as it does go to move. And it's standing there. He doesn't know what that is. The hole getting larger. And Deku, he does see something strange when he looks into it. Something odd. And right now, he has to turn his attention back to Druso when he does to come in. Him saying a smash out towards Deku that does going to meet him in the gut. It punches through his chest as Deku does bring his hands up. Right now, him looking back at Druso and grabbing him by the side of his face. And he does gonna flood his mind with images. And the man, he does go to bring his own hand up as Deku, he does go to reach out and grab Druso by the arm. Him holding it back as he does begin to overpower Druso more. The man going to roar out as he does it to look at the things Deku puts into his head. And Izuku, he does go to roar out himself. Druso going to teleport again. And this time, he does go to stand 20 feet away and staggering backwards. Deku being to mend the wound in his gut. Right now, him going to stare at the man. And he does go to huff out more breath, trying to think. Glaring up at Deku and quite pissed off. You bastard. Not fun, is it? I add a few more things to that, though. I love your daughter, Druso, and I want you to know that. So just go ahead. Try and focus on me. And tell me what you see. The man glaring at him angrily. And he does a rush in as the two, they do a collide fist again. This time, Deku pushing the advantage and going to bring his left hand up, smashing Druso in the gut. Him going to roar out his foot and smash the man in the leg. Druso going to fly backwards as Deku does go to bring up his hand and you go to use spirit magic, infusing it with his godly magic or godly mana, and then going to blast out magic missiles. And they do go roaring out, crashing directly into the man. And he does go to bring up his hand to cast a barrier. Going to block the attack as Deku does it raise his left hand and send a blast of destruction magic directly at Druso. And Druso, he does go to bring his own hands up and go to blast out his own power. Right on him being hit by the barrage as their beams do collide. And Deku's does a hit into the man. It colliding into him as Druso, he does go to be pushed back. And Deku, he does go to push his advantage, pouring more and more of his power into the attack. Before Druso, he does go to teleport away and Deku does a spin. Him going to turn and collide fist again with Druso. But the man, he does it to use a spiritual fist for the attack. Him bending forwards and down and shoving his hand up, attempting to try and stab Deku in the jaw, hoping to take him out by hitting him in the brain. Though Izuku, he does go to fall backwards as he does evade, going to rush forwards and go to crash him in the head with a headbutt. And Druso does go sliding backwards again, this time him more heavily injured as he does look more visibly aged. And Deku does see his wounds mending quickly. As the old man, he looks tired, ragged, exhausted. And right now Deku does go to glare at him. Druso going to create constructs around him as he does go to inform Izuku. He's running short. I see that. Though, fairly certain you're still pretty powerful, aren't you? Yes. Though I feel the years creeping in. Do you? Yes. The man going to rush at Deku, the multiple constructs around him going to make their way towards him. And he does use time magic. Him watching as Deku does continue to move as his constructs, they do begin to rapidly move around the battlefield around Deku. And one, there's a crash into Deku and teleport him away. Right now the two find their way back to the material plane. And when they do go to collide and crash into a mountain, he does go to jump back up, climbing to his feet. And Deku, he does go to rush at Druso as the two do to collide again. Though this time Druso, he is being pushed. He is losing his advantage. And Deku, he does get to see that. right now, him well aware of it. He's aging rapidly. Whatever power he's wielding, it's doing something to his body. He's losing time. So that's all he's got to do then. He's got to outlast him and make him age. That should be simple enough. And while that's currently going on, let us cut back over to Ochako. Ochako, yeah. She's been trying to deal with this 2v1 for quite a minute. And it has been a monumental effort to try and stave off. One of these guys is a distance attacker while one is a close range. And switching back and forth along with using her own trickery has certainly had its own realm of effort. As right now Ochako does just stand there. Her robe's a little torn from the last strike she took, though her bracers are still in peak fighting condition. She is a bit wary of the close range fighter. She's still disadvantaged in that regard, but she can keep up. She knows that about herself. She's not out of the battle yet. And right now, that is a major concern of hers, as there is where the warrior does go to come in. Right now, Ochako being alarmed when she's grabbed from behind by the man, and he does go to put her into a chokehold and go to somewhat laugh out, roaring out about this. Him beginning to feast on her magic, as Ochako, her illusions do begin to fade. And she does go to feel the fiery wings of her phoenix go to be eaten. And the man, he does have beams of energy flowing into his skin. And Zagul does go to stand there, laughing out and even talking about it. She's pretty powerful. So unfortunate she didn't just join their side. They could have had a lot of fun together. Besides, it's futile. What does she think she could do against him? The Demon Lord himself. He's been around for thousands of years. If she thought she could beat him, then she's mistaken. So you think serving him is easier? No. You get to live if you serve. Power isn't bad either. Though, unfortunately, you just happen to be on the wrong end. Really now. Right now the warrior going to try and let go of Ochako, though she does go to bring her hands up, grabbing the man's. And he does go to try and release her again. But she does do one very simple thing. She's going to activate her chaos magic, wrapping the warrior back around her. And Zagul does it a watch on. As the man, he does begin to try and flail. He does try to get away. He does try to remove himself from this position. He's leeching power, more than his body can hold. And his eyes do begin to radiate a golden glow. Before Ochako does get to tell Zagul, maybe he should think a bit more. I know her going to snap her fingers as the two do to change spaces, and she does a leaping backwards. The warrior exploding with divine magic. And she does a bring her hands up, creating a barrier to defend herself. And Zagul, he does go to sit there for a second. His own armor embedded in his body. Him trying to recover from the attack. And that's not good. He already enhanced himself. He already used his abilities to increase a lot of other things. Defense, durability, strength, speed. Shit. He's gonna die. Right now, him going to dispel the magic from his system. And he does then go to pour healing magic into himself. As right now, he does go to look up and begin to heal. Ochako glaring at him as she herself just tried to take a second to recover. He just leached away about, what, 15-20% of her mana pool? Yeah. She's lucky she could pour divine magic into that. Though, it's got her pretty damn winded. She's about halfway done. Shit. She needs to go check on the others, but him. She needs to kill him. Right on her, stepping forwards. Unzagul, he does go to look up as Ochako does bring up her magic bracers, informing him. Any last words? Or would he like to reconsider his statement earlier? Zagul glaring her down, though his eyes, they do show a bit more fear. And there is where he does go to laugh out when the ground does start to shake again. This time Ochako turning and watching as something does going to start coming through a massive hole in the sky. Her confused, but then her eyes going wide. Zagul rushing towards her as she doesn't meet him with one of her daggers. Her going to spin and go to stab the blade directly into his heart. Before he does go to stagger backwards again and still try to recover. Ochako bring her hand up and going to light him ablaze with Phoenix Fire. In Zagul, he does a roar out trying to heal from this while he's burning. Ochako going to turn back to look up at the sky. Something is coming through. System warning. New event discovered. Titan found. Take out the Titan in the abyss. Her glaring at that. And she doesn't read the name. Turning back and trying to think before she does a roar out to Galore to take that thing down. And the massive skeleton does get to turn its attention there. And Ochako does get to realize she stopped hearing the battle between Deku and Druso. The two are gone. Where did they go? Shit. Did Deku lose? Wait. Her turning attention back to Galore. There's something in the sky. There's a hole. But where did that come from? Her glaring at it. It's a... No, that's not a portal. The other one over there, that's a portal, but that's a tear. In reality? What the hell happened? It's getting larger. And that it does concern her. Right now her turning attention back to Zagul. And he is met with divine fire. Now, Bakugo, he does come crashing back down across the battlefield in the abyss. And the Demon Lord, he does go to cast a spell and come back into the abyss as well, stepping in and informing the aspiring hero. It's quite something. He was quite the little prankster, jokester, if he may say. He did quite a lot. But right now is not the time for games, boy. He has a lot of plans, and he is not worth the effort. Right. Him getting back to his feet. Sure he's not. He thought he killed all planeswalkers last time. Look at him. Shaking in his boots at the thought one of them survived. What is that? Bakugo looking to see what he's staring at. Though he does get to try and keep his senses focused on the Demon Lord. And he does look up. He doesn't see that Galore is reacting to a massive creature. And he does get the information the event of a Titan in the Abyss. And that does make him turn his attention back towards the Demon Lord. And the man still does get to stare on, in awe at the fact that Galor's remains are now complete. This is better than he could have ever expected. With those he can find more forbidden arts, better forbidden arts. Perhaps he might be even able to widen the gap between the others. Yes, properly control their own abilities. It's quite annoying, but they're outside of his reach with his current information. And that doesn't make him go to smile. As right now, we do cut back over to Deku and Druso. The mountaintop they were on has been devastated. And they do both go to stand there. Deku's divine form has faded. And right now, Druso, he does stand there himself. An emaciated old man. Him with his hands still raised. He is lean, still muscular, but he's breathing heavily. His hair is completely faded to white. His eyes have sunken, and his power has run dry. And Deku has noticed this. Right now, watching as Druso does fall forwards onto his knees. And that does gonna make a grin creep along his face. He can't sense magic empowering his being anymore. And Izuku does go to bring his hand up and pull his knife, stepping forwards and watching Druso, who does go to try and hold himself up on his knees with his hands. And he is breathing heavily, letting out rasping breaths that show how far he's taken this fight. And Deku does go to glare down, as right now, he does just stand there. No tricks, no games. He hasn't tried anything yet. And right now, he does get to bend down, bring a hand to the back of Druso's hair and grabbing it in a bun, pulling his head back and informing him, bring the knife to his throat. Now, isn't this something? Yes, it is. Worthy opponent. Now, I'm going to kill you. This is for everything you've done. The people you've killed. My friends you killed. For Kirishima. Deku's eyes begin to water, and Druso does get to stare up at him. Hollow eyes. What? Nothing to say? No poetic remarks? No words? Nothing at all? No matter what I say, you are still going to kill me. I've had many battles in my life. Things that have certainly haunted me. My actions, my words, many things I've done. You are looking for me to beg my life to you. I will not. That is my last pride as a warrior, and I will not sully that what I have left. You have that at least. May I make one last request? Burn in the hells! Perhaps I might. I have a request that you protect Granala. That you protect Lillian. You attacked Granala. You've lost that right. You don't have a say in anything that happens anymore. It was my home once. It's my home now. You've forsaken Theodore. You've forsaken everyone. Why should I give any of your requests any merit? Because you would already fulfill them. You take care of my Lillian, my daughter of my blood. She is not your blood. She is not yours to care about. What father would not care about their children? Do you have any last words? Yes. Apologize to Theodore for me. As a boy, you have the illusions of immortality. Others will die in war. Others will fall. It is not your place. It is only when you are wounded in battle does that illusion of immortality fade. That was something my master told me, and it is something I've remembered. I've waited for this day for 20 years. I will not deny it to you. I will not deny it to myself. I have butchered my own allies, forsaken myself, made contracts with the Demon Lord. He broke those contracts and I had a chance at being a free man again. Running, hiding. I knew it would not work. The man beginning to tear up. All that would happen is he would kill Lily, forsake Cronulla again, and I would have to watch my blood burn. I am a free man, since he broke that contract, but I am still chained like a dog. This battle was my last chance at freedom. A choice I made. A choice I will accept wholeheartedly with my being. I've already forsaken my life, forsaken my kin and my blood. I will not deny you your revenge. I concede this battle to you, warrior. Now go kill the Demon Lord. I have given you the time, the pressure. If I had not had to sacrifice you for the worlds, I would. I am only sorry I had to do it. And Deku does let the man's hair go, glaring down at him. Angry, annoyed, pissed. And he does go to bring his hand out before he does a slice. And Druso, he does go to have his head part from his shoulders before he does go to fall, landing forwards into the dirt, and his body does begin to shrivel. It does begin to try and mend the damage, but he's out of power. And Druso, he does go to lay there, happy. The battle is over. He can now rest. And Deku does feel Druso's power flood into him. Him quite alarmed by the sensation and jump he feels. As right now his eyes do begin to glow as he does go to look down. Watching as a soul does go to float up into the air, and Deku does immediately move forwards, grabbing it out of the air and holding it. Before he does go to pull it towards him and glare at it. Annoyed, angry, and pissed. Druso sacrificed him for the worlds, for his home, for everything. He was... Damn it! He should destroy him now. kill him now. And that thought does flood through Deku's mind. Him turning to look up at the moons. One of them is blood red, while the other one is a gleaming blue. And that he does get a stare at. He's just now noticing it. And it does concern him. Him looking back down at Druso's soul. He murdered his friends, destroyed their souls, and took away their second chance at life. Their very chance at life. Why should he be different? Why should he let this thing go? No. Him bringing up his right hand, coating it in the orange energy, and wrapping it around Druso's soul. Feeling it roar, ride, squirm. And he does get a squeeze. As it does go to blast out into a puff of magic. Before it does go to fade. And he does get to feel the dust run through his fingers. Usin Druso is finally dead. And Izuku, he does a turn glaring back down at the man's body, letting out a sigh. It's over. He got his revenge. He's waited for this day for years. His eyes tearing up. And he does it to fall to his knees, beginning to weep. Black tears fading from his eyes. He's avenged them. For Pyra. For Oliver. He did it. Finally. It's not over. Him climbing to his feet. Putting his blade away. Right now him turning to look down at the remains of Usin Druso. Lillian's father. A warrior. He hates to say it. But he knew this man's techniques. He knew Theodor's tricks. Theodor. The Forsaken. Huh. Right. Wasn't that something? He fucking hates prophecies. Deku bending down. Hating warrior's tradition. He does it to roll Druso onto his back. Right now him folding his arms across his waist. And going to pick him up. Putting him in his inventory, since right now the least he could do is bury the man. He hates him with all his might, all his heart. He just destroyed his soul. They're even. This is for Lillian. That is what that's for. And he does a turn, making his way over and grabbing the man by his severed head, pulling his hair up and going to planeswalk away. And we do currently have the Demon Lord. The Demon Lord is laughing out, happy and excited about what's happened. Him and Zagul do both stand there. And right now, there is Ochako and Bakugo. They both do go to stare, watching as Deku does come walking in. Right now, his boots echoing along the corridor. And everyone, they do to turn their heads. And the Demon Lord's face does go to drop, his eyes widening, as even Zagul does stare on. And Deku, he does go to look at Bakugo and Ochako, who do get a glance at him. Their eyes going wide whenever Deku does get a hold up Usin Druso's head. Right now, Zagul, somewhat staggering back in a bit of fear. And the Demon Lord does a glance towards him as Deku does go look up in the sky and see Galore and a massive Titan fighting. And it does certainly catch the eye. A massive skeleton fighting that creature. And right now he's going to lower his gaze back to the Demon Lord, tossing the head down to his feet. And he does a glance down as Deku does express, raising his hand as small orbs do begin to form. He issued a challenge to Druso. And the simple little thing was, magical abilities were on the line. All of his power is now his. You little bastard. Am I a bastard? You fear me. Now, Ochako, you take the goal. Me and Bakugo can handle the Demon Lord. You're almost out of magic. Yeah. He's stronger than he looks. His power is weird. I can't counter it. He's off. That's certainly one way to put it, child. Yeah, I know he's off. Then again, Bakugo, I have an idea. Him going to extend his hand out and tell him, Spirit being to radiate off of Deku. If they combine their power, they'll work. He's never tried this with someone alive, but hopefully it works out for them. Does he trust him? And the Demon Lord does raise his blade, sending out a powerful slash that does go to rip across the ground as he's let out a war cry. Whenever everyone does a scurry away to dodge, the blast does go to rip through the flesh of Galore. Right now, it's parting and severing as people, they do go to land on the ground. And Deku does get a turn. Before he does go to increase his perception and look down at his status screen, being informed of his rewards for his current achievement. And he does see that he has over 70 levels gained, along with being informed of his stats being increased for getting over level 500. And that it does go to alarm him. As right now, Deku, he does go to stare at all those points and try to think about what to do. Right now, him going to dump them into time magic as he does go to freeze everything. Now, Deku does a look around. The Demon Lord is already rushing at him. And as time does get to slow down to a complete and utter crawl, the man's moving fast. But Deku does go to do one very, very simple thing. He does go to raise his hand and go to pull back time. Right now, his ring activating as the second use of it does go off. And when everyone is a stand there confused, Deku does go to rush to Bakugo, bringing his hand up, informing him they need to combine their power now. Just do it. But do it! Do you trust me? Right now, Ochako waving her hand and creating a barrier, as Deku does get a leap into the air with Bakugo. Right now, him going to look up as Bakugo does understand. And whenever Deku does a pull, Bakugo does go to lean in. And they do get covered by a massive ball of magic. As the Demon Lord does a glance up and stare up at something. And there is where Deku, no, not Deku. Someone, they do come lowering down to the ground. Ochako staring on and asking if that's them. Incredible. What is this feeling? I don't understand any of it. But no, I recognize it. You. Give us a minute. We'll handle you in a second. But you did kill Druso. But we also. His face creasing into a frown. You idiot! Why would you? I get it, but shut up. Let me take control. With our powers, we can do this. The Demon Lord letting out a war cry, and Ochako does glance over at that person who's supposed to be Bakugo and Deku. Rhino him activating spirit. And when he does get to do so, Ochako does feel alarmed over the aura does radiate around her. Her eyes filling with a brilliant glow as she does go to stand taller, stand more firm. The fear that was creeping in about this battle is beginning to fade. She feels reinvigorated, like she casted that spell multiple times. Holy shit! Is this what Deku feels? And that thought does go through her mind as the fusion does begin to start laughing again, informing the Demon Lord. They're going to start breaking some records now, so cracking his neck. He should get a little bit more concerned about how fucked he is. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.